You had talked to us before about what you thought should happen. Are you surprised by the verdict?
No, because I don't have faith in jurors, and I say that with love. I believe that they're doing the best they can at their level of awareness. I'm not going to second guess them. They were in the courtroom. I wasn't. All the things that, I can say to respect their verdict. That said, I saw the evidence. I saw her testimony. I think that there is a unbelievable power that prosecutors have when they bring charges. And jurors, they don't believe in the presumption of innocence. They don't. They should, but they don't. They think if the charges are brought, they must be right. And I think while she wasn't the ideal parent, she definitely wasn't the ideal wife admitting to affairs, she definitely did not reasonably foresee that her son was going to do this abhorrent act, and it falls way short of what's required under the criminal statute.
Imran, you were not surprised.
No, not at all, because you looked at the evidence that was presented by the prosecutors in this case and the way the verdict form and the charges were presented to that jury. I think that at the close of the case, the prosecutors were able to check off all the boxes there for that jury. You look at the charges, you look at gross negligence, failure to perform a legal duty, look at the evidence that they presented. I think that the prosecution were able to, and that we know from that verdict, prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. I wasn't surprised, Dan.
Let me play. This is Jennifer Crumbley. I think this may have been the most important back and forth by her. This is from her own attorney when she was on the witness stand. This is number 10.
Do you believe that you knew or had reason to know your son was a danger to anyone else?
No. As a parent, you spend your whole life trying to protect your child from other dangers. You never would think you have to protect your child from harming somebody else. I've asked myself if I would have done anything differently, and I wouldn't have.
If you could change what happened, would you?
Oh, absolutely. I wish he would have killed us instead.
Mark, do you think it was a mistake for her to have said, I wouldn't have done anything differently?
Of course. That's horrible. It's why 99% of my clients never see a witness stand, no matter how articulate they are. And she's no Martin Luther King. I never would have put her on there. She made the best remark, I wish they had killed me, he had killed me, and the worst remark in one line. I wouldn't have done anything differently. What are you, stupid? Your life's on the line. Yes, I wish I had done things differently. I wish I had been able to foresee what was going on inside of his head. But I believed he was doing wonderfully, especially because he texted me right before the shooting, I love you, Mom. Everything seemed to be okay at that moment, and the school never sent him home. The school thought he was okay to be at that school at that moment. They never caused him to go home. That's on them.
And Imran, I think one of the most incriminating pieces is the text messages between Ethan and a friend of his in April of 2021. He says, this is number 12. Like, I hear people talking to me and see someone in the distance. I actually asked my dad to take me to the doctor yesterday, but he gave me some pills and told me to suck it up. Like, it's at the point I'm asking to go to the doctor. My mom laughed when I told her, but I'm having bad insomnia and paranoia and I need help, and I was thinking about calling 911 so I go to the hospital, but then my parents would be really pissed. I mean, look, she denies that, but the fact that he's saying this at the time, I've got to believe this was one of the most important pieces of evidence.
I mean, it speaks volumes because you're thinking about the charge, right? A failure to act, gross negligence. This is someone who is crying out to his parents for help. We see the evidence when you put it all together, the text messages, her Facebook posts, the interaction with the school when they call her the morning of the shooting. She doesn't take him out of school. You put those all together, and the prosecutors did that, and I think they did so effectively. And you see this picture, this narrative out there for the jury of a child who is screaming out for help, potentially, from his parents, but a mother, a father, who didn't necessarily pay attention to that, who disregarded his pleas for help. And ultimately, that's why you see with this verdict, she is being convicted essentially for pulling that trigger.
So if you were the prosecutor, you would have brought these charges?
I'm a former prosecutor, Dan, and looking at the egregious nature of what we saw presented at this trial. Of course, James Crumbley, the allegations are still there. He's going to face his own trial. I would bring these trials. I would have brought these charges, Dan. I would have presented this to a grand jury. I would have sought an indictment. I would have brought it to trial. And I think it's going to be indicative, Dan, the way you see various prosecutorial agencies handling mass shootings.
Mark, I know you would not have brought the case, but let me ask you, what happens now with the husband's trial? He'll at least have the advantage of having seen everything that happened in this case, right?
Yeah, okay, that's a plus. But that guy, he's got more blood on his hands if you're this jury. He's the one who was supposed to have secured the weapon. The wife testified, I thought very credibly, that that wasn't her thing. He was responsible for ensuring that it wouldn't get into the hands of their son unless it was used solely for target practice, which was its intended purpose. Every parent with a child who's a teenager, beware. None of us really know what's going on inside their heads, although you think you do. With a verdict like this, you better know what's going on, because you could be held responsible for anything that they do.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.